leader. You are a closed mind. I know, I'm just so closed mind. In fact, I don't even want to listen to the rest of this. It's very difficult. So real quickly, I just want to ask you a few questions, and here's what I want you to pay attention to when I ask you these questions. I don't want you to pay attention so much to your answer. I want you to pay attention to your emotions when I ask you these questions, all right? First one is really this. How do you respond to staff? How do you respond to staff who make suggestions based on what they've observed in other organizations? How do you respond to staff who make suggestions to you based on what they've observed in other organizations, especially when it's a competitor? How do you respond? Now, I'll tell you how you initially respond because you're human, so that's okay. There's something in you that's just kind of like a, like I don't even want to hear that. And they're not us. They're not us. They're not us. What does that even mean? They're not. Of course, they're not us. There's only one us. Okay, they're not us. Okay. But as soon as if that thing in you that's in all of us, it's pride of authorship, it's ego, it's stuff that's not going to go away. If that thing in you and that thing in me gets past about right here, and then if it starts coming out of our mouth, we're critics. We begin to close mind and we begin to close hearts. So when somebody in your organization gets back from a conference, or gets back from whatever, or gets back from a competitor store, and comes and says, you got to watch this YouTube video, you got to watch this YouTube. Look how they do it there. Look how they do it there. I think we should do it that way here. If that thing in you that wants to shut that down, you just got to shut that down. Otherwise, you will be the critic that shuts down all the students, and the students will either quit learning or they'll just quit working for you and go somewhere. Second question. When was the last time your organization embraced a big idea that wasn't your idea? When's the last time that your organization, or maybe your division, or maybe your department, maybe you're a division manager, you run a franchise, or maybe you're the student pastor, so you're not over the whole organization. But even within your immediate context, when is the last idea that your division or department embraced a really big idea and it wasn't your idea? Somebody came up with something and you looked at them and said, that is a great idea. We are going to do that. Third question. When's the last time you weren't sure about an initiative, but you gave the go-ahead anyway? And then those are the three questions. And here's one of my favorite quotes. It's from Sam Harris. Sam Harris is a neuroscientist. He's known primarily because of his books. He's one of the new atheists. And I listen to Sam Harris podcast. And the reason I listen to Sam Harris podcast is because I want to be a student, not a critic. Thank you. Sam here? Is that you, Sam? No, okay. So I'm listening to the Sam Harris podcast. He's brilliant, okay? He's brilliant, and after 9/11, he wrote this book that trashed religion, and he's brilliant. And again, if you're trying to speak to a secular culture, these are important things to know. But anyway, so one day I'm listening to the Sam Harris podcast, and he made this statement. It was just in the middle of a paragraph. I don't know if it's even written down anywhere. And I wrote it down. He said this. He said, we must pay attention to the frontiers of our ignorance. Amen. Wow. That is like the most non-Christian thing to do. Because especially those of us who are Christian leaders, our temptation oftentimes is to turn our back to our ignorance and just play in the sand pile of everything that we already know and that we're already so certain about, isn't it? And the minute you do that, in business, the minute you do that in ministry, if you really are about changing your city or your community, it's almost lights out and game over. I love this. You must pay attention to the frontiers of your ignorance. And you know what? Most of us have vast frontiers, don't we? Right? You must pay attention to the frontiers of your ignorance. Are you paying attention to the frontiers? In other words, are you willing to turn your back on everything you know, not because you don't believe it anymore, but because you are more curious about what there is yet to learn than what you already know? And the older you get, and the older we get, the more difficult that is, but the more successful we are, the more difficult that is to do. Uniquely better dwells on the frontier of your ignorance. That's where it is. You go, where is it? It is on the frontier. You don't know what it is yet. You haven't discovered it yet. You haven't stumbled upon it yet. You haven't recognized it yet. In fact, it may not even be yet. It is on the frontiers of my ignorance and your ignorance. When we quit learning, we quit growing. When we quit growing, we probably quit leading. I wrote in my notes, being the leader and leading are two entirely different things. We'll talk about that someday. Number 3. Here's a big one. In your culture, in your organization, in your staff meetings, in your one-on-ones. Number 3, replace "ow" with "wow." Together. I want us to just say "wow" with an exclamation mark. Ready? Wow. Now this time I want there to be a little bit of a whisper. Wow.
Wowee.
Wow. Next time you go to your supervisor with a good idea, isn't that what you want to hear? You want her to lean in and go. Because when she leans in and goes, "Wow," you're going to just keep talking. Wow. But the moment somebody says the H word, all the creative juices go away. The idea dies at the H word. But how? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to do that? How?
Leek wil op meow.
Fairyland, have budgets and there are limitations, but look, come on. If somebody has an idea, how much does it cost you to lean in and to say, "Wow"? How much does that cost? That would be nothing. You lose nothing by saying, "Wow." You may lose the next big idea by saying, "But how?" On the screen. Wow ideas to life, don't how them to death. Wow ideas to life, don't how them to death. We fuel innovation or we shut it down by our response. Don't miss this. We fuel innovation or we shut it down by our response to new, untried, expensive, unorthodox ideas. Worse, you can how an idea right out the door of your organization. Now, some of you are more prone to wow than how. Some of you, it was hard for you to even say it when I asked you to. It's like, no, I can't say how. Wow, I can't say wow. I'm a how person. I'm a numbers person. I'm an accountant. No, everybody needs to get used when somebody comes with an idea to say, wow. Nothing is gained by not knowing what your people are dreaming about. Nothing is gained by not knowing what your people are dreaming about. Nothing is gained if you don't know what your people are dreaming about. Not too long ago, I had a group of our young communicators that I meet with from time to time. And before we started our little thing, I was going to take them through. I said, "Hey, what do you guys want to do?" So we're going to go around the room and just say, "Yeah, I want to know about their future. They want to pastor churches. They want to work for us. You know, what sky's the limit?" And I get to Justin and I said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "I want your job." Wow! Wow! Yes. I'm so glad to know that. You're fired. No, I said, I'm so glad to know that. I want to know what you're dreaming about. What do I gain? What do I gain by not knowing the ideas and the dreams of the people around me? Nothing. I gain nothing. What do I lose by not knowing? I may lose. You may lose. Uniquely better. Now, real quickly to the married women in the room. This has nothing to do with the talk, but to the married women in the room. The married women everywhere, okay? This is a big deal. This wow and how thing, this is a big deal because, ladies, you know this. About every week or so, your husband comes home with a new idea, right? Doesn't he? He's like, "Honey, honey, we're going to buy this, honey, we're going to move, honey, I'm going to build a honey, I'm going to, and they got all, and this is just, and women do this too, but I mean, typically, guys got all these ideas. And ladies, somehow you think that God put you in our lives to how all of our good ideas to death, okay? He didn't.
Amen.
Now, let me explain to you. I know why. Now, honey, I know why you do that. I know why you do that. It's fear. Okay? Fear not. Wait. Fear not.
Come on, preach it, boy.
Follow through with anything. Right? So you just say, ladies, wow.
Dat is wel op het moment dat ze het wel uitvoeren, hè? Ho, ho.
Then you can say, "Would you clean out the dishwasher?" "Yes, ma'am, I'll clean out the dishwasher, take out the trash, yeah, whatever." You came up with that all by yourself. And then you just hand us the remote and we'll never think about it again, okay? So.
Amen.
Wow, is that good? So I'm glad I stayed for that last session. It saved my marriage. Seriously. Parents, let's be careful, okay? Let's just be careful with our kids. The world will put enough hows in front of them. They don't need us to do that. Let's just be, wow.
Yeah.
Your greatest contribution may not be something you do, but someone you raise. Your greatest contribution to the world may not be something you do, but someone you raise. And you need to raise wow kids. And what does it cost you? It costs you nothing. But to discourage something that God maybe is stirring around in a kid's heart, even a middle school kid, a high school kid, a dream that unfortunately for you is not your will or your plan for their life, but maybe it's God's will or God's plan for their life. Don't howl that to death. Closed-minded leaders, closed minds, and they close hearts. And that's true forever. Last thing is we're trying to create a culture that recognizes rather than resists. Recognize rather than resist. Is to ask the uniquely better questions. And I'm going to give these to you real quick. Before launching, and this comes down to creating the habit within your organization of thinking uniquely better, uniquely better, uniquely better, uniquely better. Here's why. If you are in the habit, or should I say, if you are actively pursuing at whatever level, this doesn't have to be the macro level, this could be at something small. As long as you're thinking, I'm on the lookout for uniquely better, uniquely better, uniquely better, it will predispose you toward recognizing it even if you don't discover it. So these uniquely better questions are questions you can begin asking immediately about what you're currently doing. And here they are. First one is this. Is this unique? In other words, next time you launch a new environment, the next time you launch a new program, the next time you look at a new design, at least stop and ask the question. Not will it work, not does it work, not have we done this before, but is this unique? I mean, everybody already knows what one of these is, but is there anything unique about this? Well, no, we did this last year, people came. Okay, yeah, okay. And then the second question is this. What would make this unique? What does it cost to ask this question? Nothing. And you may just need to go ahead with the plans as they've been designed. But at least stop and ask the question, okay, is this unique? Is there something that we could do to make this unique? Because unique attracts attention. Unique is unique, and people like unique. Is there something we could do to make this unique? You're not trying to create a new category. You're just trying to take something you're already familiar with, something you already do, and you're just asking, how do we, and is there a way to make this unique? It's so interesting that, Apple computers did not create portable music. Do you know who created portable music? I bet you know. Who created portable music for the most part? Sony. Yeah. You know what Apple came along and did? They took something that was already a category and they made it unique. And they stole it. It wasn't their idea. But they just ran off with this extraordinary thing of portable music because they did something unique with it. Is it unique? What can we do to make it unique? And then the third question is this. Is it better? Is this better? No, it's kind of what we did last year. Is this better? No, we've been making it this way, since I got here. Is this better? Is this better than what we've normally done? Fourth question, is it better really? You know why I say that? Oh, it's better, it's better. Oh, it's better. Okay, let's do it. No. Come on. Is it better? Really? Is it really better? It's not really better. Now, why are these questions important? Here's why. Because you as a leader, I as a leader, in your industry, whatever it is, we're on the hunt. We're on the search. We're looking. We are wide open. We're busy Monday through Friday or Monday, I don't know when you work, when you're Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Sunday, whatever it is. You know, we're busy people. We're raising kids. We got grandkids. We got stuff going on. But if in our day-to-day, if in the rhythm of our organization, if in the rhythm of our critique, if in the rhythm of our evaluation, we're at least thinking uniquely better, uniquely better, uniquely better, uniquely better, then we will be more prone to see it when it comes along. And it will keep us from creating an organization that closes hearts and minds because our hearts and minds are so closed. So here's the questions, or here's the 4 things. Be a student, not a critic. Keep your eyes and minds wide. Replace how with wow. And ask the uniquely better questions. Somebody out there somewhere is already working on it. It may be your organization, or it may be someone in your organization. And whether we discover it first, or whether we pioneer it first, is not really the issue as so much as it is, will we be positioned to recognize it? And you will. If you keep your eyes and your heart and your mind and your hands wide open. Now, I'm a pastor, and like Bill, I just so love the local church. And I pray all the time. I do. I pray all the time. God, I don't know what you have for me, and I don't know if we're going to be a part of the next iteration of whatever you decide to do in the world, wherever you decide to do it in the world. And as much as I love my churches, and as much as I love the way that we do what we do, God, I want to be, if nothing else, I would like to think that we could be wind in somebody else's sails. When some 25-year-old or 35-year-old or 75-year-old stumbles upon, discovers, and creates whatever that uniquely better thing is that's going to draw people to your kingdom. And if you're a Christian, I know you feel the very same way. So let's be people of wow rather than how. And let's keep our eyes wide open for that thing that God may be willing to do, that God may have already started doing. And by His grace, perhaps we can be a part of it. Yes. Thank you so